how revision changes your reality. Today on Awakening with Amy. Hi, welcome. I'm Amy Valentine, Certified Life Coach, hoping to awaken within you a mindset that you can be, do, and have any desire. And today we're going to talk all things revision. Neville Goddard taught revision as a powerful way to change your reality. So this video comes out of request. I had a comment from Winning Ways. This is for you. We're going to delve into revision today and what Neville Goddard meant so we can have a better understanding how we can use it in our day-to-day life. So the first thing I want to say about revision is we first must understand what Neville Goddard called the first cause of reality, of what we're living, our life experience. The first cause is consciousness, is imagination, how we are using our imagination, what we're thinking about, what we're feeling, what we're believing and assuming to be true about ourselves in relationship to everything else. The first cause is our imagination, the quality of our thinking. He talks about how consciousness is the only cause of anything that you're living. But what do? We think we're looking at the outer effects, right? And thinking that that's the cause of why we feel the way we do. You know, my husband is acting like he doesn't care. He's working all the time. He's not spending time with our family. You think that is the reason why you're feeling upset or feeling neglected or abandoned, when really you were already feeling abandoned before because something you were doing in your imagination, and that's one effect. So this is one example. And listen, this is not about blame. This is not about judgment. This is about awareness. We cannot expand our consciousness, rise in consciousness, change anything without first becoming aware. And it's always with an uncritical eye. It's called discernment, right? So we can choose again, choose what we want. So if we can imagine unwanted things, whether they're happening right now, or imagine an unwanted worst case scenario from the past, or imagine a worst case scenario for the future, then we can use that same tool, imagination, consciousness, what we're shining our light on, what we're focusing our attention on, we can use it towards best case scenario. Understand that this is the crux to understand how to use revision, because revision, Neville Goddard's revision, is a tool that's really about aligning with our higher selves, with our inner being, our soul, who we really are. Our I am nature. Remember, I am that I am, one with the Father. That is why all things are possible. That's why no facts are final. Nothing is as solid and real as it appears to be. So we have to loosen our grip to understand revision, and to make it work for us, we have to loosen our grip on linear time, believing that the past causes our present moment, because that's just a bogus belief. It's not really true, right? All potentials exist now. Quantum physics says that everything is always in flux. Everything is a wave of energy, that unseen wave of potential. And all potentials exist simultaneously, all at once right now. And what we're looking at is less than 1% of those waves of potential, and how it became less than 1% physical, seen, manifested, experienced reality is because we observed it. We used our imagination, our mind, our consciousness long enough, probably unconsciously, unknowingly, on something long enough that it became true. We literally believed it in. That's why Abraham Hicks says, a belief is only a thought that you kept thinking. And you can undo that by taking your attention away from that reality. And that's what revision does. It helps you create a new reality, a new imaginal scene. And you can do it with the past, with the present, or the future. Think about it. If you can think, say, for example, you're building a house, right? And all that's there right now is a big pile of dirt. You just have the lot. But you can use your imagination to imagine, do I want a 2-story house? Do I want a rancher? Do I want a Cape Cod, something traditional, or do I want something more modern? You literally can use your imagination. If you can use it to create a future event, you can use it to revise a past event. It's taking the quantum view, the higher view, right? Aligning with that higher you, the one that knows that you are worthy, that the kingdom is already yours, that creation is finished, meaning all potentials exist right now. And the one that you collapse is the one you're focused mostly on. And this is not about time. Again, remember, loosen your grip on linear time. It's about intensity and frequency. How often do I return to my new imaginal scene, my new desire, right? So understand that first cause is within. As within, so without. Nothing without a physical experience, a relationship, an event, a circumstance, nothing is fixed. It's just an after effect of an inner cause. I wrote down a couple quotes today. So just to help tie this all together, and then we'll get into how to use revision later in the video. We just need a little bit of a basis of understanding before I can really talk about how to revise anything in your life. This is really powerful today. So stay with me. So here's a quote from Neville. That which you experience in the physical world is merely a shadow reflecting the reality of your imaginal activity. Abraham Hicks says it differently. They say that what you're living right now is old news. What is old news? It's the past. It's like the way past. Isn't this crazy? Everything that you're living right now is but a shadow of an old imaginal activity that you were unaware of. And now because you're becoming aware, you can change it. That is your creative power. You can use your imagination to heal or to hurt. It's all up to you, right? Neville also says, do not waste one moment in regret. For to think feelingly of the mistakes of the past is to reinfect yourself. Think about the power in that. We get so addicted to talking about the past, to talking about unwanted things from our childhood. We tend to recycle, right? Don't we? I mean, we tend to recycle old stories, old dead experiences. And the crazy thing is, they're done. Unless you're using your now moment to reimagine them. You're literally using your now moment to recreate the past, and it's going to show up in the future in some way very similar. So the whole thing, again, is not about blame. It's about taking ownership, using your imagination consciously. Remember, if you can use it towards remembering a past that you don't want, you can use it towards revising that past event towards what you prefer. And that is the quantum way to think. That is the higher view, is to use your now moment and broadening your view and realize that that past event was one potential in infinite possibilities. So there's literally offshoots of that very same event that turned out the way you wanted it to. And it's just in a wave of potential until you collapse it with your imaginal activity. When? Right now. A Course in Miracles says it so well. they ask us this question, and it's really what Neville was getting at. Why would you cling to it in memory if you did not desire its effects? Course in Miracles telling us our memory, our imaginal act, what we're doing with our thoughts, our quality of our thinking, our beliefs, what we're assuming to be, is what is creating the physical effects. And there is no cause without an effect. There is no effect without a cause, right? It needs an observer. Everything, again, is just an invisible potential. So this is what is required to walk by faith, not by sight. And again, it's not about time. How long does it take? Now, that's the egoic structure. Thinking we're separate from what we desire, but we're not. We're never separate from what we desire, because it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom, give you every desire. When? Right now. You just have to own it in consciousness first. You are the operant power, Neville says, meaning you have to use your imagination towards the way you want things to be, the way you want others to be, the way you want yourself to be, the way you want your finances to be, everything. And you can do that in your mind when you understand that there's only the now moment, right? We don't have to cling to unwanted things. Nothing is solid, as real as it appears to be, right? So Jesus said in Luke 9:60, allow the dead to bury their own dead. But as for you, go and proclaim the kingdom of God. What is the dead? Let the dead bury their own dead. Let those old stories, those old dead unwanted thoughts, old dead unwanted beliefs bury themselves by lack of attention. And you know what happens to them? You stop recreating them. And what they do, they go back into that potential. And what are all those waves of potential? Pure positive love. Until we filter any one wave through our focus, through our imaginal act, what we shine a light on, whether it's coming through a filter of love or a filter of fear, then that becomes a particle, right? That wave of potential. But remember, there's only one love, one source, one God. And whatever we're using our imagination, we're thinking into that because we're one with it. This is really powerful. So we can be selective with how we use our imagination. And one way is Neville Goddard's revision technique. And this is how you do it. First, remind yourself of everything that I said in this video, that first cause is my imagination and my awareness is my power. So I'm going to use my awareness not to blame myself, not to use guilt or blame to reinfect myself. I'm going to take ownership that I'm the operant power, right? I'm going to remind myself first cause is what I'm doing with the quality of my thoughts. What am I imagining to be true for myself? Number 2, be still and know I am God. Remember that over and over. Be still. Shut out the physical world. It's just a shadow, just long enough to go within to your I am, your connection with that infinite field of potential, that quantum field, that real you. That's who you really are. That's what revision is all about, is remembering who you really are. Eternal, non-physical energy that came into a physical body to experience life, to create heaven on earth. Number 3, rewrite, reimagine, revise anything with these words from Neville. This technique is called I remember when. I remember when I was broke and in debt and I didn't have any money. I remember when I was single. I remember when I didn't own my own home. I remember when, you get the idea. I remember when is a technique Neville created to revise any event. Because why does it work? Because it is implying that you're no longer living that experience. You're putting your focus on another potential, and it will become a physical manifested reality. It is a law. It has to. It's the law of being. It's the way everything works. Remember, first call, what am I doing in my imagination? I can be selective. I can do what I want in my imagination. So use Neville's revision technique. I remember when. It will focus until you feel that inner movement. Remember, it's the frequency and intensity, meaning until you build that relationship with your higher self that wants to give you everything. Everything you desire is trying its best to get to you. Trust that. Walk by faith, not by sight. So revise anything. When you do, you not only change your past, you change your present, and you change your future. Why? Because your state of being, who you are, is coming from that higher view where all things are possible. And when your state of being changes, everything in the outer world will begin to reflect that change within. Thank you so much for being here. If you like this content, comment below. Tell me what hit you. Ask me your question. I'll do videos on whatever you want, well, within reason. Like and share the video, and please subscribe. And until next time, have a wonderful day.